Hiya, welcome to Bad Influence. This week, we're looking at some of the dream consoles, like the Neo Geo.
Our main review this week is Super Mario All-Stars on the SNES.
Now I'll be reporting from the best special effects company in the world, creators of these guys.
Amongst all my fan mail this week, I've discovered a poem by A.T. Sanderson of Glasgow. There once was a guy called Nam, who was a little spam. He never knew until he grew, which made him a bigger spam. What a marvellous poem. Thus inspired, I've decided to do today's first cheat entirely in verse. The first cheat that I'm going to do is for the Amiga game Street Fighter 2. Put your cursor over Blanca, then type in patience as a prank. Then select your favourite fighter and play the game until your energy's lighter. To top it up, just press F10. You'll never lose, even against Ken. Well, there it is, my first rhyming cheat. I think you'll agree I never missed a beat. Keep watching, because I'll be back with more exciting cheats from my shack.
Namrud, what a dude. You've seen the film, you've worn the book, you've read the t-shirt, and you have eaten the game. And if you're not sick of Jurassic Park and dinosaurs by now, you will be by the end of the programme. This is the CD-ROM Dinosaurs, which runs on the PC. It's based on several books, but as well as words and pictures, you get sounds and animations as well. You can start at the beginning, like a book, or dip in where you like, and that's what I've done. I've gone to the basics. What is a dinosaur? Let's find out. Dinosaurs were amazing creatures that lived during the Okay, this is where it's got it over a book, because I can't say that word, so I can click it to get me more information about that strange word. Here, it tells you what it is, but best of all, it'll also tell you how to pronounce it.
Mesozoic era.
Mesozoic era. And now I won't embarrass myself in front of dinosaur experts. This voice facility is also used because you can go on guided tours. There are loads to choose from, but we'll go for the Dinosaur Olympics.
In basketball, when the Dino Dream Team steps onto the court, Michael Jordan doesn't stand a chance.
And I've chosen this one because I hope that Manchester are going to win the Olympics later on. Keep your fingers crossed for that. As well as this, you can have a look at 6 different movies. It lets the sounds and animations speak for themselves. I've chosen The Hunt because it's the most bloodthirsty, but it's not for the faint-hearted. What I want to know is, how can they sample sounds from animals that died 65 million years ago?
Your chips go down a treat, that, wouldn't it? Super Mario All-Stars is a combination of 4 classic Mario games which first appeared on the NES. They've been given a bit of spit and polish to bring them up to 16-bit standard and include the lost levels of Super Mario Brothers. Here's Alex finding his way around.
If you're a Mario fan, then this one's really going to be for you. What they've done is they've reworked the graphics and the sound. Now, I don't think this uses all the SNES's capabilities, but that shouldn't worry you, as all the gameplay's still there. This is Super Mario Bros. 1. It was first released in 1987, and this set the standard for all the rest of the platform games. What I'm doing in here, I'm little Mario running along, got to do all the same things, leap on the turtles, knock them into the brown walking mushrooms. And if I look around, I can find mushrooms, they turn me into Big Mario. What you can do is you can leap on all of them, and if I can find a star, I'll be invincible for the rest of the level. This means you can just run through, you can do big jumps, you can just plough through the game. These are the lost levels of Super Mario Brothers. You won't have seen these if you live outside Japan, because when they were first released, they were considered too hard for the European market, and this one requires some precision jumping. Let me tell you, these are a lot harder than they look. You've got to leap over these green things, but they're always getting you. Oh, they've got me. With these 4 separate games included, I think that makes it great value. Even if you've already got Super Mario World, I think this complements it nicely.
I will consider buying it, but only because it's got the 4 games in one.
When they were first released, the Mario games were good, but they're flogging them to death by re-releasing now dated games.
And so the final scores for Super Mario All-Stars, the girls gave it an average 3 out of 5, but the boys gave it an excellent 4 out of 5.
Right, Scotty Furtlers, which famous movie is this an impersonation of? I'm really bored with this planet. You are the chosen one, Luke. May the force be with you. Eek, eek, the spaceship has been overrun by Imperial stormtroopers. Use the force, Luke. Of course, it was Raiders of the Lost Ark. And here's a cheat for Super Raiders of the Lost Ark on the SNES. When you get to the Sandman's level, after the second set of caves, you come to a straight piece of ground like this. All you have to do is fall off the cliff and press left, and you'll find an extra set of 9 lives. And you can come back to this spot as many times as you like. Right, time for my next movie impression. Eek, eek, all the dinosaurs have escaped. Ockeye the new haggis. I'm really sorry I built this island and invented all them dinosaurs the new.
They used to say that a camera never lies. Today, especially in movies, it lies all the time. And the best people in the world at making it lie aren't in Hollywood. They're based here, just north of San Francisco, at a special effects company called Industrial Light and Magic. The latest blockbuster to feature their handiwork is Jurassic Park.
Keep absolutely still.
The job of the special effects wizards is to produce scenes and characters that can't exist in real life. And let's face it, there aren't that many Tyrannosaurus Rexes around nowadays, even in California.
Turn the light off, turn the light off.
And this is where the magic starts, the art department. It's here that a director's rough ideas are turned into so-called concept drawings. The ILM artists have worked on all the most successful movies of the past few years, and they keep everything.
This is a T2 book, and these are just some real rough illustrations that director Jim Cameron sent to us. You can kind of tell what it is, but just barely. And then our art director starts drawing based on that. So here's one of his, but you can see it's still a mood drawing. It's still something that's just trying to define colors and a feeling. The T1000 didn't look like that in the picture.
It's silver too. This is
exactly.
Kind of
and then we move on to something that's more finished. It's still a mood piece, but it's sort of a final concept drawing.
The artists also produce concept pictures for hardware. Recognize this? It's an early version of the Death Star from Star Wars. And once the concept gets agreed by the director, the model shop gets to work. And the model has to be made in incredible detail so that when they're projected on a giant cinema screen, they look real. The model makers here at Industrial Light and Magic can produce anything from dragons to dinosaurs, from spaceships to slimers, from buildings to brothers. Then had absolutely no idea how this could be done, and special effects techniques remained pretty much unchanged until Industrial Light and Magic was set up nearly 20 years ago. It's 1975. Producer George Lucas is about to embark on a project called Star Wars, and he needs to film some very special effects. He assembles a team of model makers, cameramen, and unusually computer experts, who between them invent an entirely new way of shooting special effects. For the first time, they're using computers to control camera movements. This is what's called a motion control camera. It's motorized and can move very precisely under computer control. It means that camera moves can be repeated time after time. So all the spaceships that you need for your battle can be filmed separately and combined later. Today, motion control is used in every other movie. But here at ILM, they're one step ahead. They're using computers in an entirely different way to produce movie images.
This really came to the forefront with Terminator 2, where we had a completely synthetic model of Robert Patrick built for his role as the T-1000 robot.
To produce the perfect T2 within the computer, the programmers needed a real-life reference. So they felt-tipped actor Robert Patrick's body with a black grid and filmed him walking, running, and standing. They then produced a wireframe model inside the computer, which they could animate to perfectly reproduce his body movements. One of the problems with this new technique was that the model experts at ILM, who know how to make a dinosaur move convincingly, weren't computer experts. They were used to hands-on work. And that's where the DIDs came in.
This is the DID, or the dinosaur input device, that we use to make some of the scenes in Jurassic Park, some of the animations. And what it is a conventional stop-motion animation armature that's articulated using these hinge joints, and hooked up to each joint is an optical encoder that will allow each move that one makes of the articulated skeleton to be transferred down these wires. It goes into the computer and memorized. So it's built up over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little tiny infinitesimal movements. And then we'll use the computer to edit all the moves and smooth them out and refine the performance of the character.
One thing's for sure, in the movies at least, you just can't believe your eyes. Oh, and a competition to finish with. From which movie is this the last scene?
Amazing stuff, eh? In the movie, the special effects wizards filled in the blank spaces with real-life actors and vehicles. So, in the film, they were real, but that wasn't. But what film was it? Well, here's another clue. It was on telly last week. Oh, and it starred Bruce Willis. Prize details at the end of the programme, but now it's time for this week's news and previews.
Here's a red-hot new game for the Amiga and PC, Inferno. You can visit 7 planets and 3 moons, viewing them from deep space or interacting close-up in great detail. Look out for it in early '94.
There are 2 new stylish joysticks for the Mega Drive and the SNES. Both Mega Master sticks feature arcade-style buttons and slow motion, auto fire, turbo speed and volume control.
The most eagerly awaited game for software-hungry Mega CD fans is Sylpheed. The game features massive polygon-based background sprites like those seen in Starwind. They rotate and change in size as they shoot towards you. Sylpheed hits the shops in November.
And now for some more games reviews.
In Dr. Franken 2 on the Game Boy, poor old Frankie's having a bit of bother with the electricity board. He's run up a huge bill and he can't pay it, so the search is on to find Dr. Frankenbone's lolly. Here's Amanda.
This is a very big maze game, but it's also a shoot-em-up as well. Here you can see the bailiff. He's knocking at the door frantically, but he can't get me, so I've got to find the key so I can shoot out the back door. This game's slightly different to the first game, as there are several different worlds. Here I am in the forest. Every time you come back to the forest, it may be slightly different, like there may be coins in the trees, or there might be people sat down below. Here's an old man. He doesn't do anything, so you just go past him. This is a really good game if you like puzzles, and I think it'll keep you interested for quite some time.
This is a great improvement on the first one. It's got faster and slicker graphics. I think this is a great game for the Game Boy.
At first I found this game quite interesting, but I wasn't sure where I was going. I looked at the demonstration and that helped me where I was supposed to go.
And the scores for Dr. Franken 2, the girls liked it and gave it 4 out of 5, but the boys disagreed. They only gave it an average score, 3 out of 5.
Haunting, on the Mega Drive, is a spooky romp where Poltergeist, who was sadly killed by the Sardini family, gets his own back by frightening them out of their wits and their house. Paul took on this ghostly task.
Haunting, a new kind of game. In most games, you're a person trying to get rid of a ghost, but in this game, you're the ghost trying to get rid of the person. You start off the game in the cellar having to collect the green ecto-gunge, which helps you go up to the next part of the level. There's a red spell. I can use that later in the game. This is the map. It shows me where the people are and which rooms they're in. Here's the little boy. I can do one of 2 things to him. I can either cast a spell or jump into something. I'm going to jump into this cupboard. I've come out as a ghost. Different objects do different things, and this is quite a good one, because the boy's quite scared. In the bottom right corner, his face will come up, and the more he gets terrified, the more guns he'll give me when he runs out of the room. It's a great game, but you have to give it a while to get into it. The only problem with it, it's a bit too easy.
It's a nice idea, and the screen is 3D, but everything else about the game is very basic.
This is quite a good storyline, but unfortunately it's just an average game with jerky graphics.
And the scores for Haunting, the girls gave it an unspectacular 3 out of 5, and the boys thought it was average too. 3 out of 5 from them.
And now, Bad Influence is proud to present the very rich person's guide to luxury games consoles. We have assembled here in the studio what you might call the Rolls Royces of the games consoles world. Interestingly though, they're not all very new. In fact, this bit of kit from Japan is over 3 years old. It's called the FM Towns and it's never been released in this country. British software manufacturers though do make games for it. It runs on the usual computer software, but the best games come on CD, and what you're seeing now is a worldwide preview for us here on Bad Influence, a first ever look at Scavenger 4.
This is the CD console version of the FM Towns. They've taken away the keyboard, aimed it at younger players, and called it the Marty. In this game, Microcosm, you steer a tiny ship through the human body.
One of the consoles you can get in this country is this one, the PC Engine. In Japan, this is more popular than the Mega Drive, even though it's only an 8-bit machine. It packs 6-channel stereo sound, excellent graphics, and when it was launched in 1988, it really took off, primarily because the software, which comes on little cards like this, included flawless copies of some arcade favourites like R-Type or this one, Magical Chase.
In Japan, there are no less than 8 different versions of the PC Engine in various shapes and sizes. This is the top-of-the-range model, the PC Engine Turbo Duo. Software comes on CD-ROM as well as the usual cards. Let me just get that out. I'll show you something else, because this is the PC Engine GT. It's a colour portable version. It shares many of the same features as its big brother, including using the same cards, which makes it the only portable in the world on which you can play Street Fighter 2.
At the top end of the scale is this, the Neo Geo, the most powerful games console in the universe. It's literally an arcade machine for your bedroom. Software includes all the arcade favourites. This has just been released and I've been playing it all day. It's called Viewpoint. Sadly, the Neo Geo is only available on import, but electrical shops and mail-order companies might be able to rent it for you.
And when you get bored with your bedroom, you can save your game on a memory card, take the memory card out, go down the local arcade, slot it into a coin-op and continue your game from where you left off. Got 50p, Andy?
No, not just at the minute. And finally, this is the first working 3DO machine in Britain. 3DO is one of the new generation of games machines. This game is called Motor Madness, and the system will be released in this country next April.
Ah, here's 3 hilarious practical jokes that you can play on your friends. Or in my case, Andy and Violet. Number 1. Tell Andy Craig that you'd really like an autographed photograph of him. Number 2. Tell Violet Berlin that her hair's got a funny colour. Number 3. Wait till they're playing Dragon's Fury on the Mega Drive, then quickly distract them and type in LIBYFWJID3. Then as soon as they start the game, they'll get a score of, well, lots of 9s and 2 noughts. But the best bit is, when they blast the ball back into play, they'll go straight to the final stage, making the game completely useless and a total waste of time. Or, of course, alternatively, you could rewire their Mega Drive so when they press button C, it blows up. Oops. Because that would be a good idea, not...
The explosive Namrud there. If you want to record the data blast, set your video recorders now.
Last week's competition prize was an Amiga 1200 with a modem, the game Air Warrior, and the fashion accessory for the 90s, the Bad Influence t-shirt. The competition question was, who played the ace pilot in the film Top Gun? The answer, Tom Cruise. The winner, congratulations to Nazir Shiraz from Cardiff.
This week's competition prize is to win a Neo Geo and games, and the question is the same one that was set by Z Wright earlier. From which film is this the last scene? Phone in your answers on 0891 700 100. Calls will cost no more than 25p, but make sure you get permission first from whoever pays the phone bill. Lines close at midnight on Monday.
And that, unfortunately, is all we have time for today, so see you next week. Ta-ra!
Bye!
Come on, it's my go now. Come on, it's my go now. Come on.